Very good morning, everybody. Today we are going to organize a national webinar on COVID-19 challenges of politics and administration in India. Hope you are doing well in this pandemic. And now I welcome you all to this national webinar. At the outset, we are going to garland Ma Samleshwari, and this will take just 2 or 3 minutes. Thereafter, we'll have one Odisha anthem. Vande Utkal Janani, and after we will come to our agenda. Thank you. I request all our students, faculty members, guests, and the learned participants, please stand up and pray to the Almighty Ma Samleshwari for the well-being of the universe. Thank you.
दीपज्योति परं ज्योति
दीपज्योति परं ज्योति दीपज्योति जनार्दनः दीपो हरतु मे पापम् दीपज्योति नमोस्तुते शुभं करोतु कल्याणं
वन्दे उत्कलजननी वन्दे उत्कलजननी वन्दे उत्कलजननी वन्दे उत्कलजननी वन्दे उत्कलजननी वन्दे उत्कलजननी चारुहासमयी चारुभासमयी जननी 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 वन्दे उत्कलजननी वन्दे उत्कलजननी पूतपयोधि विधौत शरीरा तालतमाल सुशोभिततीरा सुप्रतटिनि कुलशिखर समीरा जननी 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 वन्दे उत्कलजननी वन्दे उत्कलजननी घन घन वन भूमि राजित अंगे नीलभूधर माला साजित रंगे कण कण मुखरित चारु विहंगे जननी 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 वन्दे उत्कलजननी वन्दे उत्कलजननी वन्दे उत्कलजननी जननी
Thank you. Vande Utkarjanani. Good morning again. This is the second national webinar of the Department of Political Science, Kuchinda College, Kuchinda. Once again, I welcome you all on behalf of all the faculty members, students, staff, and Kuchinda town at large. Am I audible? Our department is excited to meet the learned guest, Dr. Manvendra Singh, faculty members from lovely professional University, Punjab, and our chief speaker, learned Dr. Rajat Kujur sir, from Sambalpur University. Now, I request our institution head principal sir, the chief patron of this webinar, to inaugurate the webinar as well as welcome you all. Thank you.
First of all, I would like to seek the blessings of Ma Samaleshwari, the presiding deity of Western Odisha, for the well-being of one and all. May Goddess Ma Samalei save us from this pandemic COVID-19. It is my proud privilege to inaugurate a national webinar organized by the Department of Political Science, Kuchinda College, on COVID-19 pandemic, challenges of politics and administration in India. And on this occasion, I'm glad to have among us, though not physically, because of ICT, development in information and communication technology in India, we are able to have great personalities, great minds among us, and I'm so happy to have esteemed chief guest, Dr. Manvendra Singh from lovely professional university, Punjab, and our esteemed chief speaker, Dr. Rajat Kujur. And what appeals me and impresses me about Dr. Kujur is his fearlessness. And we are so delighted to have among us two young, great minds in the field of public administration and political science among us. So I'd like to extend a very warm welcome on behalf of our college to our esteemed chief guest and chief speaker, as well as all the invited faculty members from different colleges and universities throughout the country, and the participants, student participants from our own college, Kuchinda College, as well as different colleges throughout the country. So I wish this webinar a grand success, and I congratulate the Department of Political Science, especially the head of the department, Mr. Sudhanshu Kumar Mohapatra, other faculty members, Dr. Divyakanti Pilung, then Mr. Vikari Oram, and IQAC coordinator, Ms. Suchitra Mishra, and the other members of IQAC, all our faculty members, non-teaching staff, and some of the students who are actively involved in organizing this kind of a grand national webinar. So, on this occasion, to introduce our honorable guest and esteemed speaker, I would like to invite the head of the department, Mr. Sudhanshu Mohapatra, who would give a detailed introduction about our young and dynamic guest today. Mr. Mohapatra, please.
Thank you very much, respected Principal Kavishwar Das sir. You are the source of this webinar. Without your moral support, physical support, we would not have organized this one. Once again, I welcome you all. Now we have 79 participants. It's a really a thrilling number in this pandemic, as we have an area that is called tribal area. There is not much satisfactory data about this 4G or 2G or 3G. In spite of that, our students, interested participants, they are connecting with us. So the number is increasing. This is very inspiring for us. So today we have among all our chief guest, he is very well known to me, Dr. Manvendra Singh, Assistant Professor and Coordinator, Department of Government and Public Administration, Academic Counselor, School of Humanities, Lovely Professional University, Punjab. He had his PhD in Social Sciences from NIT Jaipur. He has done his MBA in International Business from London, UK. He had his UGC NET in Public Administration and also is a University Gold Medalist in NPTEL. He is a topper of NPTEL. He had now 30 research papers and 10 book chapters in various reputed Scopus indexed and peer-reviewed journals. He is a very dynamic personality, a soft-spoken person, and very popular among department students as well as throughout the university, where around 45,000 students are reading in LPU. And we have two sessions. One is about the chief guest, his address, and again we had another dynamic personality, Dr. Rajat Kumar Kujur from Sambalpur University. He is from Department of Political Science and Public Administration. He's an assistant professor, and he had many publications and books. That part will be introduced by my faculty member, Kiran. So after some time, we are going to invite our chief guest, the most awarded Dr. Manvendra Singh sir. I hope that my dear students, they will get so many information from Dr. Manvendra Singh treasure. Thank you. I welcome Dr. Manvendra Singh sir. Over to you, sir.
Respected Principal Sir Khageshwar Das ji, Kuchinda College, Kuchinda. Respected Dr. Rajat Kumar sir, Mr. Sudhanshu Mahapatra ji, HOD Department of Political Science and Public Administration at this college, Kuchinda College. Respected Ms. S. Mishra ji, Coordinator IQUAC. Respected Dr. D. Bilung, Mr. B. Oram, Mr. R. Kullu, Mr. D. Bhoi, and Miss S. Mins and Miss H. Manji, all the faculty members, all the staff members, all the department members, all the respected members, all the participants, and dear students. Thank you very much for inviting me on this national webinar on coronavirus pandemic issues and challenges with special reference to India. I will not go in length because we are having for that a very highly knowledgeable person and speaker with us, Dr. Rajat sir. But I would like to bring your attention to few important points which can be considered as one of the most important issues or challenges in the current time and scenario of coronavirus pandemic. Now, if I talk about the COVID-19 in general, we all know that this entire issue of coronavirus, which was started with the sudden outbreak in the last year in the month of December. So after that, continuously, India has faced multiple issues and challenges at this front. The most important challenge which India needs to cater to is the density of population. If I talk about the density of population in India, approximately there are 464 people living in per square kilometer territory, as compared to the other Western Hemisphere countries like Italy or Spain or America, UK, or even some other Middle East countries like Iran and so on. which are having much less dense population. If I talk about the population of India, it is also the second most largest and the highest population after China, of course, with 1.38 billion people as compared to the other countries like America, 330 million, Iran around 83 million, Italy somewhere around 60 million, Spain somewhere around uh, few less than this number, around 40 million or something. So, in this country, when our honorable Prime Minister has imposed the nationwide lockdown on 22nd of March 2020, it was unthinkable, mainly because of the issues, uh, looking into the context, looking into the size, looking into the vastness of this country. It was not possible to suddenly stop everything. And it was so difficult for the people also to manage at that point of time. But as we know, unity in diversity, and united we stand, divided we fall. That is the practice, that is the culture that Indians have been known for, not only in this country or in Asian continent, but across the globe. So with all this, we have managed. And it is the only result of this that if I was going through the latest news, and it has been reported that now India is coming to some of the countries which are able to successfully curb the growing figure of this coronavirus COVID-19 pandemic. And it has been also reported that India is one of the country which is having one of the lowest cases per million in the entire world, which is somewhere around 158, especially in the last few days, in last few weeks, which is much lower than many other countries, even including the Western countries, developed countries like America, Britain, France, Germany, and so on. Now, the government of India is already eyeing upon the Pfizer vaccine, which has very recently successfully administered in the United States of America, in spite of the growing cases every single day. So, vaccinating around 100 or 200 people in each session per day is becoming a target for the government of India, and the Ministry of Health is also divided and setting up the guidelines that how once this Pfizer vaccine, maybe in next month, we are expecting that the first slot of this Pfizer vaccine will be available to our country also, but it will not be able to cater to the billions of the people at one instance because it will take time. So they have divided it into three phases. So first of all, it will be given to those people who are working at the forefront of this COVID-19 pandemic, like all the paramedical staff, all the doctors, all the nurses, all the police forces, all the defense personnel, and so on. And then the second phase will be for those people who are our senior citizens, which are above 50 years of age, and so on. And then in third phase, it will be available to other category of the people, which are less than 60 years of age, and so on. So even the former Bihar Chief Minister and Hindustani Awam Morcha Chief Jitan Ram Manji, who is tested positive for COVID-19, has also announced in a tweet that my corona test results has report has come for a positive report, and people who are in contact with me for the past 1 week, they are also requested to kindly do their corona test. Okay, in spite of all these data which suggests that we are able to curb it, but still there is another slide or the flip side of the coin, that the second wave, India is entering into a second wave of this deadly SARS-CoV-19 virus. The technical name of this virus, SARS-CoV-19. So looking into all this data, India has approximately recorded around 27,000 more new cases, especially in the last 24 hours. So now we are gradually moving towards touching the figure of around 1 crore. Currently, we are around 98 and something lakh. So out of all these total cases, more than 3.52 lakh cases are still active, while over 93 lakh people have already recovered also after testing positive from this COVID-19. So it is also telling us the success story of our scientists, of our government also, that is trying day and night very hard to work upon curbing this corona pandemic spread of these diseases. So this is considered as one of the lowest single day spike in deaths, especially in the past few months. If you look into the past few months data, especially of the past 6 months. So the total number of deaths which are reported for Delhi, especially for the national capital region, it has crossed around 10,000, and only Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, and Karnataka, these are few states which are having more than that. If I talk about the global front also, America is a country, in spite of being the superpower, but the spread and the transmission rate of this disease is very huge, is megalomaniac. So we need to understand one thing, that it doesn't matter whether you are a developed nation and having the best state of the art facilities for controlling this crisis, or whether you are a developing nation or whether you are a developed nation. What matters is, are we able to break this chain of coronavirus COVID-19 pandemic, which India, up to a certain extent, is successfully able to curb? In America, people initially they were protesting that we don't want to stay at home. We have to work. In America, it's a very, the cost of living in that country, in America, the cost of living in London, United Kingdom, the cost of living in Germany and France, it's very high. So people have to work. There are various daily wage earners who have to work if they have to pay their rent, and the rent is also paid weekly basis, and they are getting wages on hourly basis. So they are like hand to mouth situation for those people. So they are protesting. They are on the streets that we don't want to sit inside our home and follow this shutdown or lockdown. Second is the President Trump's policy earlier were also not imposing or doing the complete nationwide lockdown. So, for example, lockdown was imposed in few parts of America, unlike in India, where it was a nationwide lockdown since 22 March. And gradually, they have unlock it with proper guidelines and so on. But at the same time, it doesn't mean that everything is going fine or everything is working fine, because in spite of all these shutdown measures which have been adopted by the government, and not only central government but also various state governments who have taken the lead in this case, there is a culture amongst people of various states in this country, India, which do not follow the proper hygiene. Whether when they are coughing also, they don't follow the proper hygiene. They don't wash frequently their hands. So it took a time, because the culture and the work style also doesn't allow to follow this kind of tough, strict measures in this country. So it was lacking. And according to the latest data and the report which was provided by the government, only 36% of the Indians, they wash their hands with soap before they are having their meal, whether it's a lunch or whether it's a dinner and so on. And even when we are talking about washing their hands, around 160 million Indians do not even have the access to clean water to wash their hands. So this is another challenge. And the research is also suggesting that apart from this, there are various categories of people who are belonging to a age group which is less than 60 years of age group, but who are having health related problems like diabetes, who are having problems like hypertension. And all these problems, when they are combined, they are proving a kind of a catapult factor for this virus to even spread more widely. And not only this, before this virus, there are various other diseases like tuberculosis, like pneumonia. And suddenly, when this coronavirus came, which is a category of artificial a virus which was created in a lab. So this is not a natural virus. So it is also posing a challenge to the scientist community to find out the correct genetic code sequencing of this virus, so that they can find out a kind of a vaccination which can directly kill this virus. Currently, whatever vaccines we are having after all these 3-phase trials, they are trying to increase the antibodies in your body so that your body become immune to such kind of future incidences. But there is a report also which suggests the another side of this, which says that in spite of all this, it is not possible in spite of all this, it is not possible that we can be in a position to control this virus 100%, because there are chances that after certain time it may again come up. So these vaccines are coming as a solution, and it will be properly monitored, it will be properly supervised, and after everything it will be possible to take a huge decision whether you have to give it to the entire market or not. So that's it from my side, and rest of the important points will be taken up by our respected Dr. Rajat Kumar sir. And thank you very much, Mr. Sudhanshu, for giving me this opportunity to share some of the views. And now over to you, Mr. Sudhanshu, for the further progression of this national webinar on COVID-19 pandemic challenges in politics and administration. I wish you all the best for the successful conduct of this national webinar, and to all the participants and to all the students, all the best. Over to you, Sudhanshu, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. Just a phone call was enough. You gave your consent to be a part of our national webinar. You are so kind and a popular one among all students in LPU. You are connected with so many programs. Now LPU is going to raise its standards or to make one progress in the worldwide, to be in the map of, or to be in the forefront of the world academic scenario. COVID-19 and lockdown, actually it was not a pleasant for everybody. As you mentioned, your talk was so nice and it was full of data and figures. It's really a human service to us, to our students, for the students at large. Our students are, as we now following both the medium, Odia and English, they might be facing some of difficulty in grasping or understanding your all the concepts, but your English is too simple, and I hope that all my students and the participants from other departments also, they might have got it. As you mentioned, this virus is prepared or made in the laboratory, and it is very difficult to identify or find its root or genesis or the science connecting with us with that virus. So learned researchers like you and Dr. Rajat sir and the research persons like you, our government is taking various views and doing its best to keep all sectors in proper shape and direction. So really, you people, you are giving so much direction to the government and to the society also. Really, your talk was for all that we must have wash our hands. You mentioned that only 30% of Indians, they are washing their hands with soap. So no more, nothing more. from my side, I will appeal everybody to दो गज की दूरी and mask is जरूरी. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Now, we are just excited to hear from Dr. Rajat sir, and this is a good to hear that we have got two students, your direct two students, one Bikari Oram and Divyakanti Bilum. They are always doing their best, and they are popular not only from the department, the students of the Department of Political Science, but also the entire Kuchinda College. We have almost more than 2,000 students strength, a college, a degree college, and we are situated in a travel area, but our dynamic Biren sir and Dr. Divyakanti Bilum, they are doing well. It might be a satisfaction for you, Dr. Rajat sir. Now I welcome you, and on behalf of my department, and I invite Bikari Oram, your favorite student, to give introduction about you in this webinar. Thank you, sir. Biren Bhau.
A very good morning, respected principal sir, respected HOD sir, respected Kujur sir, and respected Manvendra sir, respected other faculties and participants. It is my pleasure to introduce the chief speaker of this webinar, Dr. Rajat Kujur sir, Assistant Professor, Department of Political Science and Public Administration, Sambalpur University. Dr. Kujur is really a dynamic person. Dr. Kujur is an eminent writer and researcher also. He is known for Mao specialist in India. His area of specialization are international politics, peace and conflict studies, and social inclusion policy issues. To his credit, he did MA in Utkal University, then he did MPhil and PhD from Jawaharlal Nehru University, New Delhi. In the year 1999, he joined in Odisha Education Service and sat in different government colleges of Odisha. After that, he joined as an assistant professor in PG Department of Political Science, Sambalpur University. He is a visiting fellow, Institutions of Peace and Conflict Studies, New Delhi, Associate Fellow, Society for the Studies of Peace and Conflict, New Delhi, Member Board of Governor, Centurion University of Technology and Management, Bhubaneswar. Dr. Kujur has a vast list of publications. He has published 4 important books which are related with the Naxal movement in India. The books Maoist in India, Reincarnations of Ultra-Left Extremism, in 21st century is a famous book of Dr. Kuzur, which has published in Routledge Publications, London, and another 3 books has published Oxford University Press, New York. Dr. Kuzur has published more than 90 articles and research papers, which has published in leading national and international journals. So Kuzur has a long list, but it is not right time to tell about the contributions and publications of the Kuzur sir. So that with this word, may I request to Dr. Kuzur sir to address the gathering, because we are eagerly waiting to you, sir, so that I think this is the right place and right time to share your knowledge and thought with us. That will be helpful to us all as well as student also. So, sir, once again, I request you to address the gathering. Thank you, sir. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Kiran. Esteemed Principal, Sir, esteemed Chief Guest of today's National Webinar, Dr. Manvendra Singh, esteemed Head of Department, Political Science Department, Kuchinda College, other faculty members of the Political Science Department and other departments from Kuchinda College, respected faculty members of different colleges and universities, participants of this national webinar, invited guests, and my dear students. I deem it a privilege to share some of my thoughts in this national webinar. I congratulate the organizers for being choosing such an important and relevant topic as their webinar. The webinar, as you all know, that it is on COVID-19 challenges of politics and administration in India. This is a very important topic that they have picked up. And before I start with my deliberation, I would like to thank our chief guest for presenting the issues with all relevant data. It was really a very good experience to listen to him. Now, let me start with 2-3 basic questions that comes to my mind about this topic. Now, what is COVID-19? First, let us try to understand what is COVID-19. We all know that it is a global pandemic. It's a disease. But beyond that, COVID-19 is a global crisis. It has affected human health, human mind, human security, human relationship, and it has also affected in the multilateral as well as bilateral relationship among the nations. So I see COVID-19 as a global crisis, and it's beyond a health problem only. Now, this is very important also for us to understand what is politics, because we are linking politics with this COVID-19 crisis. Now, what is politics then? In all the years of teaching political science, what I have gathered is that politics is an art of possibilities. Politics is an art of possibilities. Politics provides us with windows to resolve conflicts. Politics provides us with a window to look into the problems with an objective of finding solutions. And that is the reason I said politics is an art of possibilities. Now, another thing that is also associated with our national webinar topic is administration. Now, in the connection of pandemic, politics, I must say administration is management of statecraft. So I will base my presentations revolving around these three concepts of politics, administration, and the pandemic of COVID-19. Now, if we look at Indian politics, particularly the post-independent Indian politics, we have seen issues like caste, issues like religion, issues like language, issues like culture, issues like poverty, issues like underdevelopment, etc., dominating the political scenario in India. We find many laws, many acts, many regulations related to all the issues that I just listed. But for the first time in Indian politics, one pandemic has become the central issue of Indian politics. Whether this is fortunate or unfortunate, I am not going to judge that. But what as a student of political science, I am of the opinion that for the first time, the issue of a global pandemic has become a determinant of Indian politics. Now, when this pandemic started spreading its wing, nobody was in a position to understand. Forget about preparedness. Nobody was in a way capable to understand the pandemic, its consequences, its preventives. So when India started tackling the COVID-19, there were many confusions at the minds of bureaucrats, leaders, how to go about. But what I want to tell you people, that COVID-19, the experience of COVID-19 gave a room where the central government and the state government, they are now working in proper coordination. Even if the central government and state government and governments at the state level are from different parties, but it appears relative coordination mechanism has been put in place to tackle this pandemic by both the central government as well as the state government. And I think this is a really symbol of maturing Indian democracy. Because we have seen in the past that whether it is any financial crisis or whether it is any insurgency, whether it is an issue of whatever development, there happens to be a distinct position taken by a center as well as by the state. But in this case of handling this global pandemic, both the central government as well as the state governments managed to work in proper coordination to defeat this pandemic. When Prime Minister Modi declared a nationwide lockdown, it was a decision of the central government, but it was for the state governments to implement this nationwide lockdown. It was a major challenge, imposing nationwide lockdown and implementing that lockdown. It was a major challenge. When COVID-19 started, it was a major challenge to ensure healthcare facilities, for such a huge population. As we all know that India is the second largest populated country. And we also know how our healthcare facility has not been able to reach to different parts of the country. Many places are there where there are hospitals with no doctors. Majority of our population have not been properly given access to reach to proper healthcare facility. And in this situation, it was a major challenge for the government, for the politics, to ensure that each person of this country gets access to the healthcare facility. To properly employ the health workers, to make people. So what I want to tell you people that this COVID-19, Indian politics may be looking towards making health right a reality in India. COVID hospitals were created. COVID patients were treated. So this is another major challenge. How to make people. I'm not saying that without vaccination, this disease has will never fizzle out. And the success of vaccination will also, time will say. But what I want to tell you people, that the challenge before the politics and administration in a country like India is to ensure health right to each and every individual of this country. Many don't realize that lockdown may appear to be a small word, but it was also a major challenge for the politics and administration of this country to ensure livelihood of millions of people during the lockdown. People lost their jobs. They had no earnings. It was a major question whether life is important or livelihood is important. And it was a major challenge before the politics and administration to make a proper balance between the life and the livelihood during the lockdown. When it's really a disturbing, it was really a disturbing picture when we saw thousands of migrant laborers walking on the streets with their bags and baggages, with their family to the villages. The picture at the railway stations, the picture at the bus terminals was simply horrifying. I must say that when this migration, in the migrant laborers issue, the politics and administration, I'm not saying they failed, but they could have avoided the initial confusions. But as I said, that nobody was prepared for this pandemic. Nobody has experienced, the politics and administration of this country had no experience of handling such type of pandemics. So it was natural to have confusions at certain level. But on the later part, the politics and administration, they managed to clear the confusion. Universities are closed since past many months because of this pandemic. Without opening up the educational institution, how to provide education is another. That schools and colleges have been closed since past many months, and nobody knows when it will be opening up. But in the same, it is also necessary that the students get their education. Now, how to ensure? Online classes. Yes, we are taking online classes. But online classes, how many students have a reach for this online classes? Majority students of this country, they do not have smartphones. Majority places of this country, they have no internet facility. And in this situation, how is it possible to, earlier education was available in the institution, how education can go to the home? How education will be online education classroom, government issue that students are not from having their education. regime and hostile regime. China as well as Pakistan are two of hostile neighbors of this country. Now you all know that during this pandemic period what China was doing in Indian border. How many times Indian forces and Chinese forces were at collision? This is another big challenge before the politics and administration to contain China from his imperialist agenda. Pakistan, on the other hand, is home to many terrorist groups. And if you look at this pandemic period, every day Pakistan is violating the ceasefire in Jammu and Kashmir. Pakistan is launching terrorists into India. And it is a major challenge for the politics, the administration, the military of the country to prevent China from creating disturbances in our soil. Of course, we all should be very proud of our armed forces who have never allowed Pakistan to spread its terror agenda in this country during this pandemic season, during this pandemic crisis. Another thing I would like to share with you. Indian politics has its own space for elections. Now the politics of this country faced this daunting task of conducting elections during this pandemic. Our political leaders are known. Our political leaders are known our political leaders are known to take on their campaigns on the streets. Big rallies, road shows, these are identified with the Indian politics. Just a second, I have to attend some of the important work. Okay, I'm back. So during this pandemic, it was a major challenge for Indian politics to conduct elections. Big rallies were replaced with virtual rallies. Campaigning with maintaining social distance was another challenge before the politics and political leaders. So what I want to tell you people that it's very important to look at this corona pandemic from right perspective. It's not only that this corona pandemic has created problems for us. Yes, spreading of corona is a problem. But at the same time, this pandemic has also opened up many windows to look for solutions. The whole world is looking at India for providing the cheapest vaccination. Now, as my previous our chief guest just said that Pfizer vaccinations will be available maybe next month onwards. But it is another major challenge how to ensure that this vaccination process is on. How to manage this vaccination process. So, as I said in the beginning, that politics is the art of possibilities. And Indian politics has now proved once again that politics is an art of possibility. And that is the reason, even in this global crisis of coronavirus, COVID-19, Indian politics is looking for politics to sustain, to survive, to provide livelihood, to ensure people get their jobs, to make people keep safe. So, friends, I won't be taking much of your time, but I would again say that this coronavirus, this COVID-19 had reminded us of our responsibilities. What is the responsibility of politics? What is the responsibility of administration? And what is the responsibility of the citizens? These things we have to relearn. We have to keep on in our memory for lifelong. That as a citizen, what is my responsibility? We are washing past many experiences are there when the politics or administration washes its hands from its responsibility. Even as a citizen, we wash our hands from our responsibilities. But see now how washing of hands are important. We hide our face from our responsibilities. Now see, that is because of that, now we are hiding our face with the masks. So what I want to tell you people, my last words, I must say that we must, as a country, we must stand united to fight this coronavirus. Together we will and together we can defeat this pandemic. Once again, I thank you all for inviting me and giving me a patient hearing. I wish this national level webinar a grand success. With these words, I would like to conclude my deliberations, and once again, I thank everyone present in this national level webinar. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. You have very nicely elaborated about the different challenges related with the Indian administration. Sir, you have very nicely elaborated about the impositions of lockdown, healthcare facility, employment of health workers, treatment of patients, and how the India is facing or handling the boundary crisis during this pandemic. All that things you have highlighted, sir. So we are really, sir, grateful to you, and we hope that in your speech, whatever the idea and thought you shared with us, it will be very helpful to the students as well as the teachers also. So with this word, once again, I thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Bruno, because your answer. Thank you, Rajat sir. Actually, you raised so many points in shape of issues and challenges regarding the central government and the state government's relationship. India's response to the COVID-19 pandemic has shifted the balance of its federal structure. The pandemic has enabled the central government to implement far-reaching reforms in areas such as agriculture, traditionally considered to be the domain of state. This exercise by the central government is indicative of its willingness to take advantage of the global crisis and use the levels of federal power to implement significant reforms. It also indicates that, contrary to conventional wisdom, the constitutional structure of India's federalism is less relevant to the actual relationship between India's national and state governments. We can go on so many points of discussion if we continue this webinar, but the time is limited. The meaning of this, the purpose of this webinar arrangement is to find out the challenges and issues before politics and administration in India, particularly in the COVID-19 pandemic period. Really, we are anxious to see our students' face, and also we want to go back to that chalk duster classroom pattern. And now the situation is improving, and most of the cases in Odisha as well as in different districts in Odisha also is improving satisfactorily. So they are not far away. So this is one intention that we want to give some highlight about the relationship of nation and our state to our students in the form of federalism, and what sorts of challenges and issues now we have faced that has been elaborately discussed by our two very learned resource persons. Again, I hope some new light will be added by our esteemed principal, Dr. Khogeshwar Das sir. So I request our principal, Dr. Khogeshwar Das sir, to give his presidential address. Over to you, sir.
Esteemed chief guest, Dr. Manvendra Singh sir, esteemed speaker, Dr. Kujur sir, Dr. Singh very nicely introduced the topic before the audience, august audience. But before the concluding remarks, I'm forgetting a great responsibility. We have a great mind among us, a retired professor and retired principal, Dr. Sudarshan Pujari. So, sir, namaskar and welcome to our webinar. So, if all the citizens abide by what Dr. Singh said, this social distancing, do gaj ki duri, mask hai jaruri, and then we can very well tackle the pandemic. And Dr. Kujur, what he said, it really appealed to everyone. Politics is an art of possibilities, and we are still exploring new possibilities. What more can we add? What more we can do for the fellow citizens? But when the pandemic started, and all of a sudden lockdown was declared by the government of India, at that time we felt that there was a lack of coordination between the central government and all the state governments, especially in handling the migration of laborers. all the migrant laborers at far off places from Odisha. They were in Mumbai, Surat, in Tamil Nadu, in the different parts, in the scorching heat of summer, without footwear. Even children were walking miles together every day. And a girl from Bihar on a bicycle, she brought her father from New Delhi to Bihar. What a pathetic and grim scenery it was. So there, it will remain fresh in the minds of all the citizens of this country forever. Many people, they lost their lives also while walking without food, without any means of transportation, without drinking water. Even the scene of a baby sleeping on a suitcase with wheels. The mother was dragging that wheeled suitcase, and they were trying to reach their destination to come back to their homeland. And when they reached their homeland, also, they were not welcomed by the own family members, own villagers. They refused to accept them, suspecting them to be positive cases. And that is why they had to stay in makeshift places. And I don't know much about the management of COVID in other states, but in many of the COVID centers, proper arrangement was not made in many cities. And while coming back home, many people, even trains were not there, buses were not there. That is why they had to hire private vehicles, and they had to hire boats and sail to their motherlands. And this shows a very grim picture. And on truckloads, then meeting with accidents, many people lost their lives, valuable lives. So this was because of lack of coordination between the central government and the state government. And thanks to philanthropist people with noble hearts like actor Sonu Sood, they came for the rescue of these migrant laborers, and they managed to send them back to their houses. Actually, I salute Sonu Sood, and he deserves to be remembered forever. So this is how everything happened. And anyway, the government tackled, as Dr. Kujur very well elaborated, how even ceasefire violation was there. There was pandemic on the one hand before, the government as a challenge, great challenge. At the same time, other challenges like tackling the border dispute with China and all the things. Anyway, very successfully things have been managed, and many people lost their lives. And the great sufferers are the students. We serve in a college. In its periphery, there are villages which are without electricity. What to talk of network? So people even do not have a CDMA phone. What to talk of these your mobile phones? These so many students have been deprived of online classes. So virtual classes are not meant for people who are located in remote area, forest area, hilly regions where network is not there. So that is why they are the great losers. And at that time, the Supreme Court gave a verdict that students have to appear in the examination, otherwise they cannot pass. And we had to conduct examination both through online mode and offline mode. So the sanctity of the examination could not be ensured through online mode. Still then, it was a formality to confer a degree on the students. Anyway, things are getting managed in a better manner, and we are exploring newer possibilities, more possibilities, how to tackle things, how to improve upon things, how to bring back normalcy in the academic sphere also. And we are eagerly waiting for the arrival of our students into the classrooms, because there cannot be substitute of chalk and talk to whatever ICT infrastructure you develop. Anyway, this seminar was really a very successful seminar, which was conducted in a very nice manner by the Department of Political Science and IQAC. And I am happy that we have in the audience many great teachers, faculty members from different colleges, and our constant source of inspiration and guidance, Professor Sudarshan Pujari. So I congratulate everyone for being a part of this great seminar, and and now it is over to Sudhanshu Babu for the furtherance of the seminar webinar. Sudhanshu Babu.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. A nice talk by our chief patron. He highlighted so many factors of COVID-19 and the sufferings of the people, not only the Kuchinda area, but also the entire India. I hope my dear students and students from all other colleges, they might be getting a sense out of this webinar. जदि कार किसी डाउट अच्छी क्वेश्चन आंसर जानिबा पे चाहूछन सर ताले तो मैं क्वेश्चन पचारि पारो. You are welcome. Now I request our participants, they can put their doubts in shape of question, and I request our highly learned faculty members and research persons to be a part of this question answer session. Thank you.
Excuse me, sir. I have one question. Can I put it before the audience?
Yes.
Is it audible?
Yes. Yeah. You are audible.
Yes, sir. Sir, I myself, Dr. Manashikar, Reverend Political Science, OPS Mahavidyalaya, Hindolo, Dhenkanal. Sir,
Welcome,
one
ma'am.
question. Am I audible now?
Yeah, ma'am. You are audible.
Yes, sir. Sir, one question. This topic is a current topic, but so far as my knowledge is concerned, regarding COVID-19 challenges of politics and administration both, we are lacking the scream of politics as well as we are lacking the skill of administration. But how the COVID-19 will supplement both of us in a retrospective manner to meet the situation at the end? Kindly, could you share, please?
Inspector Rajat sir. Excuse me, ma'am. Perhaps Dr. Kuju is disconnected right now. He is not in line.
Okay, sir.
So Dr. Manvendra sir, can you hear me, sir?
Yes, sir. Sir, we can exchange our thought.
Question is there, Kuja sir?
Yes, I am able to hear you, Mr. Sudhanshu.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
And Miss Madam Mansi Kar has asked very relevant questions in the current scenario of the political and administrative challenges. So, ma'am, see, there are 2 points in this regard. First, when we are talking about the politics and administration, India, the most important challenge is there is no clarity or specificity of objectives and goals with regards to the center and state relationships. So it may affect up to certain extent the speedy delivery or the speedy implementation of the solution to this pandemic problem. Second point is that we cannot completely say that the governments at both ends are not working to find out a solution. They are working. And third point is that it is not so easy, because it's a complex political mechanism because of so many constitutional, legal, uh, policy related challenges which needs to, look upon. We cannot ignore them completely. So these are some of the important things. Until and unless we are very much clear about the plans and the policies and the implementation process also, with the proper coordination, of course, with regards to the funding, with regards to the allocation, with regards to the proportion of funding to the center and to the states, this will become and this will remain a challenge. But it will take time to sort out. Things will get sorted out in a phased manner. It will take time because it's a new, just like it's new for you and me also. So it is new for the government, public policy planners and makers also to find out a relevant solution in this regard. So every now and day, if they are drafting out, if they are charting out some strategy, after 1 month it becomes obsolete. Then a new challenges emerges. For example, just to elaborate this point, recently, today's news I'm sharing with you in United Kingdom in London, there is a new, completely new variant of coronavirus, which the world has never witnessed before. It may be possible that this new variant of COVID-19, which is currently uh, the main cause of more than 1,000 deaths in London alone, London city alone, this is the most important new thing. So WHO again has to reframe the policy looking to the new variant. Are you getting the point? So every month there is something new which is coming out. So if the government is working on one policy agenda, after 1 month it becomes obsolete, it becomes outdated, and then another challenge comes up. Okay, so this is one issue. Then our respected principal sir has also highlighted a very relevant point regarding the migration problem, the labor problem. With the unlock guidelines that have been narrated by the government from time to time, unlock is also happened in a phased manner. Unlock 1, unlock 2, unlock 3, unlock 4, unlock 5, and so on. But ultimately, when the migrants have again started to go back from Bihar or from other northeastern states to states like Karnataka and Maharashtra, especially Maharashtra, then again this new wave is coming on. And then again, the workers are planning to go back by hiring buses, by paying huge amount of money, by hiring taxis, whatever means they can. And if no mean is available, they are even willing to go back by walking on their foot to their native villages and places from where they are migrating. So this current momentum is very dynamic. The current momentum is very changing. It is continuously changing, and with these changes, new problems are emerging. Now, even the government is also having no 100% clarity in this regard, whether center or state, that what will be the next. There are two things. One is called risk mitigation, and second is called contingency approach. So, if I talk about risk mitigation, that's what the government is doing. But the contingency approach also changes with the evolution of the problem because the nature of the problem is also changing drastically. So, this is my submission to you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I get you well. I welcome you again. Sir, COVID-19 is really a challenge. In this era, what steps we the people of India will take, and we will be free from all these kind of pandemics. Pandemics will come.
Okay.
What
Yes.
kind of measures we take
Okay.
for the sake of
You have
our well-being of our kids, for everything, for our
okay.
institution, for the state itself, and for the country also. This
Okay.
is
Okay.
a countrywide problem.
Yes, very correct. Now, this is a very relevant question you are asking about the kids and the family and what kind of measures as a citizen of this country we can take in order to tackle this problem. So, the first, foremost important step that we need to take as a responsible citizen of this country is to accept that there is something which is not right. Most of the people, especially in those states, if the recovery rate is more than 90% or 94%, then they are taking it for granted. And when you are taking this pandemic for granted, then automatically you are not understanding the nature and scope, the vastness, the breadth, the impact of this problem seriously. You are not taking it seriously at all. Because if you move out into the market, how many people are wearing mask? If you look into the streets, how
None
many
of them.
people
Many
are
of them.
maintaining the social distancing?
No.
Even if you talk about the youth, see, youths are going to only copy and adapt whatever they are seeing from their elders. How many
Elder.
elders are wearing the mask? So if the elders are not wearing mask, even when the teacher, online teaching we are talking about, the digital era we are talking about, how many people are following the COVID-19 guidelines issued by the government? How many people are frequently washing their hands in spite of all the media, in spite of all the news channels, in spite of the government channels issuing the guidelines from time to time to wash your hands after every 20 minutes? How many
Yes.
people are religiously following these? This is the first question to the citizen itself. And
Yes.
second thing, if the government is trying to control it by imposing some kind of night curfew, if the government is trying to impose some kind of lockdown, then people, rather than cooperating, they are protesting. So now there is a conflict between the interest of two different units. One is the citizen, second is the government. Government wants to control the figure. The most important challenge and the pressure upon the government, whether state or central, is the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals guidelines and the World Health Organization guidelines, which are abided and bounded. India is bounded by those conditions because it's a part of the United Nations organization. It cannot blankly say that we are not going to obey the guidelines. But the citizens are protesting and they are having their own reasons also. So now the government is finding it a challenge how to maintain the balance between these two things. One, the continuous pressure every single day, in spite of more than 90% recovery in some of the states, still the figure is high and it is kept growing. And very soon, India is going to be the country in which we are going to cross the 1 crore figure also. We are reaching gradually. 99 lakhs we have already reached. And within few days, if we are not able to control this, very soon we are going to touch the figure of 1 crore mark. And once we are touching this figure of 1 crore mark, then we are going to enter into a phase of second wave officially, which is going to be more dangerous. And third important point, there are various cases which are not symptomatic. They are completely asymptomatic. So, for example, a person who is sitting by you, a person who is seeing completely normal to you, they can also carry the disease of coronavirus, but you don't know that because they are not showing you the symptoms. They are not frequently coughing, they are not frequently sneezing, or they are not having any initial issue of breathing problems. But that does not mean that they are not the potential carriers of this COVID-19. They may be the case. So it is the foremost duty of how we can protect. Now I'm coming to that point. How we can protect. Number one point, wear the mask. Whenever you are moving out from your home, you have to wear the mask. Make it a religious habit. And mask, it does not mean that you are just showing off by
No,
wearing
no.
it below your nose just for the sake of formality. No, it has to be completely covering your nose, your nostrils, and all the entry points of your respiratory system.
System.
Second point, after every 20 minutes, religiously follow the practice of washing your hands frequently, ideally with your soap, not with the sanitizers, because frequent use of sanitizers may also lead to some serious skin related problems. So rather than washing your hands frequently with sanitizers again and again, it will be more better if you can use soap or the Dettol liquid. And the third important point is maintaining the proper social distancing, which very few people are obeying and following. You go to the markets, look at the crowds. Is there any social distancing? Social distancing minimum 2 गज की दूरी, mask है जरूरी. How many people are religiously following this practice of 2 गज की दूरी? So this is have to happen. Treat it like a fundamental duty enshrined in the Constitution under Article 51A. So as long as the citizens are obeying all these practices, there is a possibility, there is a probability that we may be able to control it. Otherwise, we cannot control it. That's my submission to you.
Thank you, sir, for your kind consideration and for your very good reply.
Thank you, Manavendra
Thank
sir.
you again. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. One colleague from our college, Dr. Prakash Patel, has asked one question. At the outset, he has given you a very much thanks, Dr. Manavendra sir. Just I am reading out his question. Thank you very much, sir, for this informative and interesting talk. My curiosity is about its impact on political propaganda. The politicians are in the habit of making a lot of poll promises, although they hardly deliver them. In this respect, will the politicians take advantage of this pandemic to justify their failure to fulfill poll promises in the pretext of devoting a lot of resources to pandemic situation? Over to you, sir. Dr. Manavendra Singh, sir.
Yes, Sudhanshu ji. Yes, Sudhanshu ji.
Yes, sir. So,
See,
my
I
colleague
think,
from English department, yeah.
okay. So the question is asking about the political propaganda. That impact on political propaganda, the politicians are in the habit of making a lot of poll promises, although they hardly deliver them. And in this respect, will the politicians be taking advantage of this pandemic to justify their failure to fulfill poll promises in the pretext of devoting a lot of resources to pandemic situation? See, there are both the sides. First is yes, and second is no. Yes, because the politics and administration of India has always been to influence the voters, to have a significant impact upon the voting behavior, right? So for them, yes, it can be a propaganda. But looking to the current global scenario, at this point of time, most of the politicians, they will not fall into these propaganda and will try to, because it is coming at a cost of people, right? So there is a difference between the poll promises with regards to providing the basic facilities like electricity, water connectivity, the other resources, development of the infrastructure, especially in the rural areas, by development of the facilities for the villages to generate more employment opportunities for the youths and so on. But it is completely different when we talk about this deadly coronavirus pandemic. It is not the same. So in that sense, the correct answer can be no. They may not be only talking about the false promises just in order to woo the voters and to get out the votes from them. So that's your answers, Mr. Prakash.
Thank you, sir. With this, the time is running out. So with this just discussion, we want to end up this question and answer session. I extend heartful thanks to Dr. Manvendra Singh. We have
That's a
not
very good
only
question and answer sessions from all the enthusiasts in your webinar, and I feel very grateful to all the organizers of this Kuchinda College, especially respected principal sir, who has organized and taken pain for this national webinar, and all the department and the staff. That's a wonderful faculty, and I am so humbled and deep with gratitude for giving me this opportunity, principal sir, respected principal sir. Thank you very much, sir.
It's so kind of you, sir. It is your humility. Actually, ours is a very small college located in a very remote area. And we are fortunate to have you as our chief guest today. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, sir. I am humbled. I am humbled, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And congratulations to Mr. Sudhanshu Mahapatra also to conducting this entire national webinar in a wonderful manner. And all the departmental staff of IQEC coordinator, Miss Ash Mishra, and all the other faculty members, all the students, and all the other non-teaching staff also who are included in coordination of this wonderful national webinar on COVID-19 pandemic, the challenges for politics and administration in with special reference to India, and all the enthusiasts who have asked so much interesting questions with regards to this coronavirus pandemic. It shows that you really have listened to this webinar, because many people will have the tendency that we just joined the webinar for the sake of joining and getting the certificates without actually coming out with the real knowledge enhancement. So for knowledge enhancement, the queries have to have there. Without any query, it shows that you have understood either everything or nothing. So that's the case. So thank you very much for
Sir,
that.
you filled our hearts with joy and delight.
Most welcome, sir. Most welcome, sir.
And we look forward to connect you in future events also.
I will be honored, sir. I will be honored. Thank you very much
sir.
for giving me this opportunity. Thank you very much, respected principal, sir, and Mr. Sudhanshu ji. Over to you, sir.
You are most welcome.
Thank you very much, sir. You are my friend, philosopher, and guide, and I would like to be always that I will give your blessing and good wishes each and every time. Thank you, Dr. Manvendra Singh, sir. Now I request Dr. Divya Bilung to give vote of thanks. Over to you, madam.
Honorable Chief Patron, Mr. Kaveshwar Das, Principal Kuchinda College, Kuchinda. Our Honorable Chief Guest, Dr. Manvendra Singh, Assistant Professor, Department of Government and Public Administration, School of Humanities, Lovely Professional University, Punjab, sir. Honorable Chief Speaker, Dr. Rajat Kumar Kujur, Assistant Professor, Department of Political Science, Public Administration, Samalpur University. Respected Ms. Suchitra Mishra, Madam, Coordinator, IQSC. Respected Mr. Sudhanshu Kumar Mahapatra, sir, HOD, Political Science Department. Respected Dr. Sanjay Sahu, Madam. Respected Mrs. Ranjani Naik, Madam. Vikari Oram, sir, Swapnita Means, Madam, Ensila Maji, Madam, and all dear participants. On behalf of Kuchinda College, Kuchinda, the entire fraternity and organizing committee, I feel immense pleasure to take this opportunity to propose the vote of thanks to our eminent chief guest, Dr. Manindra Singh, sir, who spared the time from his busy schedule to grace the webinar with the extremely relevant address on the importance and different issues and challenges of COVID-19 on politics and administration. Thank you so much, sir. And your speech, we think that your speech delight us and our participant also. Thank you so much, sir. I further extend my hearty thanks to Dr. Rajat Kujur, sir, for his support and consent for this webinar and giving an excellent coverage on COVID-19 challenges of politics and administration. Thank you so much, sir. I take this opportunity to specially express my deep regard to Mr. Khageshwar Das, sir, Principal Kuchinda College, Kuchinda, for always encouraging us and providing opportunity to organize such events. Thank you so much, sir. Without your support, this webinar is not possible, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
You are most welcome.
I would express my thanks, sir. I would express the special thanks to Ms. Suchitra Mishra, Coordinator IQSC, for her cooperation. Thank you, madam. I would express the special thanks to Mr. Sudhanshu Mahapatra, HOD Political Science, for his support and guidance. Without sir, this webinar is also not organized, sir. Thank you so much, sir. I would express my sincere thanks to Mr. Bhikhari Oram, Lecturer in Political Science, Mr. Roshan Kulu, Lecturer in English, Mr. Devadatta Bhoi, Lecturer in Botany, Ms. Sasmita Means, Lecturer in Odia, Ms. Hemchila Maji, Lecturer in Botany, for your all technical support and helping us to make it successful. Thank you. And I would express my special thanks to our Madam, Dr. Sanjusri Sahu Madam.
Thank you, Vijay Madam.
Ranjani Madam,
Thanks.
for their support and presence to make the webinar a successful webinar. Thank you, Madam. My deep sense of appreciation and thanks to all the participants who choose to be live with us and attended the webinar with great enthusiasm and it a successful and make it a successful event. Thank you, all of you, and have a nice day. Thank you. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Divyakanti Bilung. Without your support, this webinar could not be possible. Now I request our chief patron to declare this webinar concluded. Over to you, sir.
Before calling it a day, I would like to request all the participants to fill in the feedback form that will be available, I think, after the closure of this webinar also, so that they will get e-certificates, participation certificates. And where there is a beginning, there is an end too. And I reluctantly declare this. I wish this continued for some more time, but there is constraint of time and we have other responsibilities and we have miles to go. So that is why formally this very beautifully organized national webinar comes to an end. Thank you all.